Jonah Lawson stared directly at the explosion as the explosion emitted into the sky. The seven men stood defiantly next to one another in a single file line, directly next to one another. Tyree Tillman fell front forward and looked directly down the distance they had climbed. Has a flashback to when he had flown airborne onto the current site target. He responds, "It looks like we're gonna have to find a way to get down here." Look, Hurricane notices a pole in which they could climb down, and before Tari can know it, Jonah Hurricane had used the pole which women and females would normally use for pole dancing to slide down the pole itself. Tari Talman, who was more of the vulnerable type between the seven men, because of his scrawny build, was sitting directly after Frank Grillo, who slid down the pole with ease. Lawson helped Tari get his footing onto the pole, and before the little mini-me black male could know it, he found himself sliding directly down the pole itself, directly into Frank Grillo's arms as he let go. Minutes later, they were all down the pole, and Jonah Lawson came last. He pulled his 9mm Beretta handgun out and cocked the gun's chamber back. The group militarily walked forward through the exploding city of Shanghai, China. An explosion amidst the front of them, as a female can be heard screaming in the distance. Tari Tillman could not depict exactly what was going on, but all he could do was remotely roll with the men revolving the site of constant chaos throughout the city. The group waited till the explosion emitted past them, and immediately entered the main street to notice various cars and trucks and a school bus mangled in front of them. Nick Zano, who had just came around, who stayed behind with Tyree Tillman, turned around and cocked his gun directly at the pack of the animal creatures that had just ate a female earlier on. There were, however, prehistoric coyotes which room to believe were supposed to have been extinct for over 1 billion years. They prowled the area as Nick Zeno pointed his gun in multiple directions. Zeno quickly realized that they were surrounded and heated Tillman behind him. A coyote notices Nick, which one came around the corner. It growled with its lips tangling out of his mouth, for he had just devoured something within the ashes of the burning city. A dead public civilian, if you will. The coyote barked, licked his lips, and mangled forward. Zena pulled the trigger of the gun, and the bullet, in slow motion, comes out of the main chamber, cocks forward within position of the main portion where the bullet comes out at. The bullet releases from the gun and goes directly into the coyote's eye, killing it instantly, forcing the coyote backward. Tari flees from the situation around the corner with the rest of the men. Nick Zeno pulls 2 more shots, killing a another double coyote within the process, and runs and slides this with the gun and Bangkok's the gun with the gun on empty and runs around the corner. Tari rushes past and runs directly into Frank Grillo, who doesn't respond to the situation violently at all. Instead, he lets Tari run, in which all 6 of the white males run directly after Tari. Nick Zeno not too far behind. The helicopter and wound Gutierrez and Manima were on flew above them. All 7 men then run directly past an airplane that was slanted directly into a building with oil coming out of a gas tanker truck. The airplane, however, popped off the building itself, and Tari Tillman, however, would normally be out of breath, kept running for some unknown apparent reason. The 6 white boys stopped directly next to the airplane that was connected in the building and watched as the building shuddered and shattered in front of them. The airplane fell out of the building and slammed directly in front of them, blowing up. The fire then ignited with the oil, causing the oil to catch on fire. Nick Zeno, who was directly in front of the situation, watching it burn, signaled the other 5. He says, "Go, run!" The six white men find themselves running after Tyree as the main street within the Shanghai China district blows up. Various explosions as the cars, trucks around them start to blow in multiple directions. The airplane had caused an explosive scene in which trucks, cars, and school buses were blowing in multiple directions. Tari had already managed to get on top of a car and onto a truck, in which he somehow managed to jump airborne onto the helicopter Manima was flying. Gutierrez caught his hand just in time for him before he could fall to his prolonging death. He pulled him onto the airplane, and the rest came directly behind. Jonah Hurricane was able to grab the bottom of the helicopter when the unruly transaction occurred. A prehistoric coyote came out of the fire and attempted to attack him while he was on the helicopter. He avoided the situation and kicked the prehistoric coyote back to his death into the exploding fire. Jessica Manema steered the helicopter overhead of the various explosions. However, the helicopter started to glide out of control. Manema signaled Gutierrez to help her with the helicopter, which had just glided out of control, and Tari Tillman's awkward ability caused him to stare directly at the main frame of the helicopter. Frank Grillo stares at the same main frame. It was Frank in which Grillo got Tari's head warning message. The helicopter was being controlled. John Segarra was seen, who was also running from the exploding cars within the area, runs directly past the helicopter and somehow managed to jump from a building into the helicopter itself, swirling in midair and slip and landing foot first directly in front of Jonah Lawson, in which he pops his head up with his hoodie on and throws his hoodie back. One knee on the helicopter floor and one knee up. Jessica forces the helicopter to make an attempt to swerve right as a train slid toward them. Hurricane noticed another female on top of the train that was headed toward them. However, an unknown ability Tari Tillman has caused the train to initiate with the helicopter, causing the helicopter to turn right in 30 seconds before collision, causing the helicopter to grind against the train's side. The helicopter shuddered, and the helicopter twirled topside directly into a building. It was the group avoid their own deaths, which was directly in front of them. McNamara and Gutierrez turned around, and as Josh Segarra closed the door on top of to the side of the helicopter and locked it shut, the group immediately jumped to the back of the helicopter as it crashed into a Citadel system within the building itself. They all try to hold on for dear life, but however, they all fall into a glass structure. Tari falls in the glass structure last in line, rolling out of the way onto the concrete of the area. The group look underneath them and notice various civilian hostages underneath them, separated from them in the glass. They look up at the helicopter, which was dangling on top of them, and they move just in time for the helicopter to break free and slam directly through the glass window, killing various public civilians at a net ratio of 356. The group which was so lucky has survived the current collision course at hand, along with Tari Tillman, noticed what had occurred. Josh Segarra threw his hoodie back on the top of his head and put his hands inside his pocket. Tari Tillman notices a 9mm Beretta handgun, grabs with one hand with his finger on the trigger, checks the magazine of the gun, and immediately pulls the magazine out of the gun, checks it for bullets, and puts the magazine back into the gun. He pulls the cock chamber back, and for the first time in his own life, he trusts Josh Segarra with a 9mm Beretta handgun of his own. He stands it to his side, and before he stands up, an ally who was sitting with him the whole entire time, Cole Young, helps him up. And which Cole Young was his best friend, amateur-wise, along with the professional actors that were currently present. Cole Young responds, "You got this. Oh, trust him." Tari stares evilly at Josh Segarra, who is standing directly in front of him. Walks up to Segarra, holds the gun by the pivotal point, and gives Josh Segarra the gun. He undoes his hoodie to show his full face and head, and takes the gun by the trigger, his finger on the trigger.